Hi there, happy summer and welcome to another practice with me, Anne. Today we're going to practice sun salutes to celebrate summer solstice, first day of summer. Depending on when you're practicing this, it may not quite be summer or it might already be. Summer is Saturday, June 20th. So we will celebrate by practicing sun salutes, slow Hatha style. I don't do anything quickly. So you'll be safe. You always can adjust and monitor and not do certain poses or take a break whenever you need. Please be mindful of that. Props today that you'll need, for sure, some sort of blanket or towel. That's pretty much always a must in classes with me. If you have a strap or strap-like item, you can use a strap, you could use a necktie or the belt from a robe. And then if you have a block or two blocks, definitely use those. If you don't have those, we'll work around it. A piece of furniture, a couch, a coffee table, a bed might be helpful when we come to our balancing pose. So keep that in mind, that you may need to adjust where you are in the room for the practice at some point. I'm going to move back and we'll get started. Just a reminder, always honor your body. So if something doesn't feel okay, doesn't seem right, then you don't do it. So be mindful of that always. And let's get started in constructive rest. Lying on your back with your knees bent and the soles of your feet on your mat. Have your strap nearby. I have my folded blanket to support my head. Come to lie down, the base of my skull connecting with my support. If you need to make any adjustments here, start to feel your breath as it is right now. And in my public classes this week, I read Summer Day by Mary Oliver. So just imagine your ideal summer day. It doesn't have to be where you live. What would be the ideal summer day for you? For me, it would be at a beach, listening to the waves, smelling the ocean, feeling the sun kiss my face, my toes in the sand. Perhaps for you it's much different. Maybe you're on a hike. It could be somewhere else in the world where the temperature is not quite as warm. Wherever your perfect summer day is, be there in that moment. And then let go and let your breath be as it is. Start to deepen your breath. Moving your fingers and toes. If you want to hug your knees in, rock, anything else that would feel good for your body. You want to come back to constructive rest and step your feet as wide as your mat. You're going to move to your breath. So when you exhale, your knees will go to one side. When you inhale, they come back up. When you exhale, they go to the other side. Keep moving to your own breath. One of my favorite ways to warm up. It's gentle. It's a twist, but also your body's getting long and open. You can start that idea of really connecting your breath with your body, with your physical movements. So many of us are so disconnected, and actually all of us are at some point, and so much so now, and sometimes that's to keep us safe. But here we can be safe in this moment. Do one more round. Safe on your yoga mat, in your space, whatever that might be. Once you're complete, come back to constructive rest, so your knees are up toward the ceiling, your feet are hip distance apart, and all four corners of your feet are connecting with your mat. You'll hug your right knee into your chest. Take your strap. If you don't have anything that will work like a strap, you'll use your hands. If you have the strap, lasso your foot, the ball or the arch, and extend your leg up long. If you don't have a strap, just have your hands at the back of your thigh. Reach your leg up toward the ceiling, pressing through your heel or the ball of your foot, but be active. This might be plenty for you today, or you extend your other leg out long. It's just as active as this one, pressing through your heel or the ball of your foot. If you have a strap that's long enough, your leg can be straight. So if you're like this, then definitely move your leg out longer, have your hands lower on the strap, and have a straight leg. Of course, if your strap is too short or you're using your hands, that might not be an option. So you just do the best for you. And then as we're here, again, think about this idea of from your belly button, you're going to reach through your inner seam and then out through your heel. So you can think about the inner side of your heel and the outer part of your heel so that you're even. The idea of that connection. Bend your knee, hug your knee back in. Extend your leg out long. Both legs are out long, extended, relaxed, and just take a moment to notice and feel. Bend your knees again. Hug your left knee into your chest or your other knee. Second side. Take your strap-like item or your hands, and extend up long and tall. So reaching from your belly button through your inner seam out through your heel. Adjusting your hands, adjusting your leg if it needs an adjustment. Your foot doesn't have to be super close to your face. For many of us it won't be, but that's the idea, that your foot is coming toward your face even if it'll never get there. And then check in. This is a different side. Maybe your opposite knee stays bent, or you extend out long. If you do, make sure it's active. You can always change your mind. Can you soften something? Notice where you're holding on too tight with your hands, with your jaw, your forehead, even your hamstrings. So maybe that means you do move your leg a little bit more forward. Still getting a good stretch, but maybe not quite as intense. Bend your knee, hug it back into your chest, set your strap aside, and then extend that leg out long, so both legs are out long on your mat. Taking a moment here to notice and feel, pausing before we move on to our next pose. In the next few breaths, I'm going to have you make your way back up to a seat. So maybe you just come back to constructive rest and roll over. Maybe you want to hug your knees in and rock a little bit and then roll over. You get to decide. Be gentle, coming on up. We're going to come on to all fours in our tabletop. If you want padding, get your blanket, put that in the middle of your mat, your blanket or your towel, and come on to all fours. So starting with your knees under your hips, and then start with your wrists under your shoulders. If that doesn't feel okay, you can move your hands a little bit forward or wider or both. So find the best spot for you. We are going to be doing a lot of stuff here from tabletop, so you might find that your wrists need a break. Take a break when you need it. If you really need to come to forearms, you can do that. If you do have blocks, put them on the medium height and come on to forearms. This is almost like being in your regular tabletop, so it gives you a little more height. But of course, if you don't have blocks, then you just have your forearms on the mat. You don't have to do that the whole time. If you need to take a break at some point, you can come into that. So moving with our breath once again, as you exhale, start to round. So you're going to start to tuck your tail under, rounding your back, hollow out your belly, head and neck follow. And then when you inhale, you're going to lift your tail. As you open your heart, slightly bring your head and neck up and go back and forth to your breath. One more round. Once you're complete, come back to a neutral tabletop. Typically when I teach, I mirror. For this, I won't be, just because it gets me extra confused, and especially since we're not in a live class, I don't want to get myself confused or yourself confused. So if you're going to another side, it's no big deal. We have to do both sides. So you're going to start to extend your right leg long, toes curled under. So start here. Feel the press through your heel. Feel the lift of your belly. From your belly, feel that line of energy going down your inner thigh, out through your heel. And then if you feel stable, you can start to extend your left arm out long, reaching through your fingertips. This might be plenty, or you pick your foot up, balancing, keeping that long line. You can always bring your hand back down to your mat. Inhale, and on your exhale, crunch under, bringing your knee, elbow, and nose toward each other. And then inhale out long, trying to go steady with your breath. Exhale under. Inhale out long. Exhale under. Last one. Inhale out long. Exhale, hand down and knee down. Whew. Maybe need to give that arm, that wrist a little break. You can move side to side or do a cat-cow or two. Awesome. Second side, extend your left leg out long. Toes on your mat. Establish that connection, feel that reach, the lift. Extend your right arm out if that is okay. Check in here. If you feel balanced, perhaps you lift your leg up no higher than hip height, but it doesn't have to be that high. You want to keep your hips even. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale, crunch under. 3 of these. You don't have to do 3. 1 more. Inhale out, reaching again. Exhale, hand down and knee down. Let's come into a child's pose. So you sit back on your heels. You want to come to like a modified child's pose where you can circle your wrists, open and close your fingers, help give your fingers a break, your wrists a break, your hands a break. And then let's come back to our tabletop. So again, I won't mirror just so I don't get extra confused. Right and left already confuse me, and then mirroring makes it a double whammy. So again, you're going to extend your right leg out long, pressing through your heel. This time you're going to bring your left hand right under your nose and then slightly forward. You're going to start to open up toward your right side. So your right hand can come to your hip. You're going to start to bring the outer edge of your extended leg down onto the mat. So I'm pressing through, thinking about that line of energy from my belly through the inner seam, out my heel. And I'm turning my belly button toward the long edge of my mat. Your hand can stay at your hip. It can extend up toward the ceiling. It can be any modification that works for you. Make sure that your wrist is a little bit forward of your shoulder. If it's right under it, you're going to jam. So this gives you a little more space. This is a half modified plank. Then perhaps your back foot will lift up off the mat. It doesn't have to. Breathe, pressing through, so really reaching. Whew. And then bring your foot down if it's up, bring your hand down if it's up. Come back into your tabletop. Now do a cat-cow or a child's pose for a moment. If you need to give your wrist a break, give your wrists a break. All right, and then this time, so come back to your tabletop, and then this time we'll extend our left leg out long, starting here, connecting with your heel, with your leg, with that line of energy, the lift in your belly. And then your right hand's going to come under your nose and slightly forward. And then you bring your left hand to your hip, and you're going to bring the outer edge of your right foot down your mat. So you're trying to press through evenly. You're going to feel likely more weight in the outer edge than the inner, but you just do your best. And then you're going to think about your bottom ribs, that you're trying to turn them under and forward to open your chest, your belly. Top hand can stay at your hip. Extend up in any variation. Then check in. You want to start to Woo. Lift. This one's harder for me on this side. You can always curl the other toes under. I find that helps a little bit. Woo. Keep breathing. Nice. All right, bring your foot down. Bring your hand down. Come back to your tabletop. You can give a little wiggle, a jiggle. Give your wrists a moment to shake, to open, close. All right, and then come back to your tabletop and then step your hands one handprint forward. Press through all your fingers, your knuckles, top of the palm, the bottom of your palm. You're gonna curl your toes under. You're gonna lift your hips up, or lift your knees to lift your hips, and then come into your downward facing dog. So if you feel like you're really rounded, bend your knees a lot. Keep them bent as you lift your sit bones up toward the ceiling, and then move your butt, hip, and thighs away from your hands. Your gaze should be at your feet, your ears between your upper arms. You're pressing through your heels toward the mat. It doesn't mean that your heels will touch. You're not sinking into your shoulders. So you're really reaching into your hands, pressing to help lengthen your spine, to move your sit bones up and back. And then from here, you're going to ground through, again, I'm not going to mirror, through your left foot, and you're going to think about from your belly button through your inner seam to your heel to lift your right leg up. Keep your hips square, so you're not lifting very high, you're not opening your hips, you're keeping things fairly even. Reaching through your heel, and then ground that foot back to your mat. Press more through your right as you slowly lifting from your belly button, so lifting through that line of energy to bring your foot up. Trying to keep your down dog as much in this L position as you can, V position. I guess it'd be a weird L. And then slowly bring that foot back down. And then bring your knees down to your mat. Whew, awesome. All right, next thing we're gonna do. I typically don't need padding for my knees, but for this one, I'm gonna use it. So you might wanna decide, you can always decide at any point to use your blanket or your support. If you have blocks, put them at the back of your mat, one on the right, one on the left. If you don't have blocks, we can likely work through it. Some of us won't need them. Gonna come into a high kneeling position, so your knees are right on your hips as if you're standing, like on your feet, so you wanna have that connection. And then you're gonna extend your right leg out long. Now I am mirroring. Extend your right leg out long. So this is like that half side plank that we did earlier. So if you can have your toes faced forward, whatever that is for you, the same direction as your heart, that's ideal in my eyes, but you might not be able to. So some people like to have their toes actually the 90-degree angle. That's too much for my thigh and my knee. You could do something in between if that works for you as well. So you want to press into that foot. So again, that line of energy, reaching from your belly through your inseam, through the outer edge of your heel. And then check in that this standing knee and leg stay right under your hip. And then your right hand's going to lightly touch your leg, and your left arm, you're going to inhale up. And then we're going to hinge at our hip crease to come into our gate pose. So make sure you're not crunching into this side. There's still length on both sides as you come over. And again, arm can be in any position that's good for you. Inhale back up. Exhale your arm down. We're going to stay here. We're going to transition over. So this is where you might need your block or some sort of support. You may find that you don't need it. So you're going to start to reach your hand down. You could tent your fingers. Again, you want to reach forward of your shoulders. So don't have your hand right under your shoulder. So it's going to jam things up. You could stay here. Other hand starts at your hip. Or maybe you come on to your big toe. Maybe you lift your leg. Coming into that half moon. So fourth of a moon in a different way. For me today, this is much more accessible than the way we came in on the other side. If your arm's up, bring it down. If your foot's up, bring it down. Making your way back up. Bring your knees back into your kneeling position, high kneel. And then let's switch sides. So extend your left leg out long and adjust how you might need to have your leg. You just want to have a good press so that you have that reach through your inner seam out through your foot so you feel stable. And then adjust your other knee and leg if you need to. Bring your left hand lightly, so you don't want to press into your knee, it's just lightly touching your leg. And then inhale your right arm up. And then you're going to exhale over, coming that side bend. So really lifting and reaching and still lifting on this side as you come over. This side, my shoulders bothersome in that position, so I adjust my arm. Keep your breath flowing. Inhale back up. Exhale your arm down. Setting up for half moon on this side. So start to bring your hand down to your mat, your right hand. You could use a block on any height to support you or some furniture. Other hand at your hip, pressing through your foot, and then start to come onto the ball and then the big toe. You could stay there. You could start to lift. Your top arm could reach or not. And then bring your foot down, bring your arm down, bring your torso up, and then come back to a kneeling position. Awesome. All right, we are gonna make our way up to standing. You're gonna come to the top of your mat. I'm gonna step off my mat so you can see me. If you have blocks, have them at the highest height at the top of your mat. We are gonna do some lunges, so if you find that you definitely need support, put it in the middle of your mat. Just be mindful because we're gonna do our sun salutes, and you may find that you need to step over your blanket. I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Always a good idea when we practice yoga, especially in the summer, but all the time. So come into your Tadasana, your mountain pose, starting with your feet about hip distance apart. Feel the press. So typically when we set up Tadasana, I start with our feet, and then we work our way up the body. But this time, that idea of really you starting in the belly button to reach through your inner seams and then through your outer heels. And you'll feel things wake up, including your core. So here in your Tadasana mountain pose, I'm just going to adjust a little bit. And then you're going to reach your arms down. You're going to inhale your arms up and exhale your arms down. So I know you can't see my hands as they come up, but I'm just reaching my fingertips up toward the ceiling, and then I'm bringing them back down. Do that one more time. Inhale up and exhale down. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to start my sun salute here, and then I'll move to my mat. I just want you to be able to see me in variations of this, so you just follow along. You don't need to get off your mat. You don't need to move in a different position. You're just going to do the sequence as it goes. So we do sun salutes in my classes, Hatha style, slow. We don't do one breath per movement, so you'll be fine, but still, if you need to take a break, skip a pose, come into a child's pose, please do that. So again, we're going to reach through. Inhale up. On your exhale, start to bring your hands down at your hips. Hinge forward to come into your forward fold. This is where I'll change. So you want to keep your spine long. This is where if you have blocks, they'll be useful. You can always use any part of your body. And if it's better for you to stay in a half fold, then you stay in a half fold. And then on your next inhale, you're going to come into a half fold. So your hands will come to your shins, your thighs, or your hips, bringing your body into the shape of an L, or I guess a weird V. And then the next time you exhale, come back down to your forward fold. From here, you're going to come into a downward facing dog. If it's accessible, you set your hands down and you walk your feet back. If that's not accessible, you bring your knees down into your into your tabletop. Step your hands forward. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up, coming into your downward facing dog. So keep that reach. And even here in dog, you could think about through your belly, starting with your belly button, reach through the inner seams, out through the heels, and maybe that'll help you to ground your feet a little bit more. They don't have to touch. Bring your knees down to your mat. I'm going to shift again. And you're going to step your right foot forward to come into a low lunge. This is where you could use your blocks if you have them. If you only have one, have it on the inner side of your foot and leg if you don't have any. Or if the blocks are too far away, you can bring your hands to your thigh. Make sure that your knee is right over your heel. You're pressing through all four corners of your front foot. You can stay right here. You could remove your hands from your thigh or your blocks and have your arms down by your side. Have your palms face forward. This feels accessible. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Keep your arms reaching as you exhale. Coming into a low lunge crescent. Definitely balanced. It helps me to curl my back toes under and press into my front foot. Woo. All right, bring your hands back down, whether to your thigh or your blocks. Step your foot back. From here, you're welcome to do a little wiggle, tabletop, come back into your downward facing dog, child's pose. And then wherever you are, you're going to come into a forward fold. So if you're in a dog, you can step your feet forward, your hands back, a combo of the two. If you're in another position, you just do your best to come back into your forward fold, utilizing your blocks or your body. Then bring your hands to your hips. And you're going to inhale up. Once you inhale, or once you come up, reach your arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands together at heart center. Beautiful. Okay. That was one round of Sun Salute. Traditionally, you practice 108 Sun Salutes. This is going to be a long video, yeah? We'll just do one more round. We'll do the other side and make sure we get that other lunge in, the other leg. Maybe on your own you can practice 108. And there's so many variations. They're very specific, Surya Namaskar A and Surya Namaskar B. I freestyle my Sun Salutes, which is how my teachers taught me. But there's many ways to do them, and you can kind of add to them and take things out, whatever works for you. Inhale up. Exhale, hands at hips, hinging forward to come into your forward fold. Utilizing your props or your body or a piece of furniture to come into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And the next time you inhale, come into that half fold, bring your body into the shape of an L. On your exhale, come back down. Step back into your downward facing dog. Come to your tabletop and step into it. Whatever works for you. If you need to skip it, you skip it. Bring your knees down to your mat. Coming into a tabletop, I'm going to shift. And then we'll step our left foot forward to come into a low lunge. So using your blocks, hands at your thigh. Make sure that this front foot is pressed into the mat pretty even to help lift and open. Make sure that your knee is not forward of your ankle. So if you're here, you need to step your foot forward. Crawl those toes forward, whatever works for you. Check in with your breath. And then if it's okay, you'll come off your blocks or your thigh. Reaching your arms down, have your palms facing the same direction as your heart. And when you're ready, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, keep reaching as you reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling. So that line of energy again can work here from your belly button through your inner seam to your foot. And then your belly button can lift up to your heart, out through your fingertips. Ooh, balance. Come back down into your tabletop. If you have it in you to do one more downward facing dog, you'll do one more dog. If you want to stay in your tabletop or child's pose, please do that. Coming into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Walk hands to feet, feet to hands, or a combination of the two, utilizing your blocks or your body for your forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips as you inhale, start to lift up. Fully exhale. Let's do another inhale to reach your arms up. Exhale, hands together, heart center. And then arms back down by your sides. Awesome. All right, we're gonna do 2 more poses and then come back down to the mat. So 2 standing poses that I'm gonna do off of my mat so that you can see me better. If you have blocks, you're gonna utilize your blocks. If you don't, this is where you might wanna move to a couch, a bed that you can use for support. Even a wall actually will work. So I'll just quickly, you're not gonna move this fast and you're just watching me right now, you're not doing anything. I'll do all set up for you, but we're gonna start in a warrior 2. I've got some walls in my way. And then we're gonna transition from warrior 2 into half moon pose that we've been working toward. So this is where your prop comes in place. So this is why a bed, a wall, a couch, a coffee table can help. So I'll talk you through all the variations. Ooh, when I was practicing this earlier, I was all over the place. All right. Yeah? Okay. So have your blocks. So you're going to be on the long edge of your mat. Have your blocks, one on the right, one on the left. I'll mirror you. And I don't have a lot of space, so I'm going to move down to one side when I know that that gives me space on the other side to come into my half moon. So you might find that you have to do that as well, so you don't crash into something. So start in Tadasana and then step your feet wide. You're going to rotate your right foot and leg 90 degrees. It's got to go that whole 90 degrees. And then your back heel is going to kick back about an inch, and your toes will come in slightly. You're going to bend your front knee, aiming it towards your second and third toe. So make sure it doesn't go too far forward and it's not falling in. So with that line of energy from your belly button, have it to both legs, even though they're doing different things, to reach through your outer heels. Bring your hands on your mid-ribs to turn your upper belly and chest forward. And then reach your arms up to shoulder height into your warrior 2. We've got a little bit of a wall here. I would recommend you adjust so that you can have that reach through your fingertips. Actually, if I just kind of press, then I'm just pressing into a curtain, moving it out of the way. Your gaze can be wherever you'd like. Then you're going to bring your arms down, bring your hands to your hips. You're going to step your back foot in a little bit, shorten your stance. So that same idea with that gate pose earlier, we were hinging. We want to hinge again, keeping our knees slightly bent. So you're going to hinge and you're going to reach for your block or your support. And then today, it might just be a matter of lifting your heel up and down. It might be coming onto your big toe. Maybe you lift your foot and put it down. Maybe you lift your leg, but you keep your chest down toward the floor. Or you start to work toward opening. So make sure that your shoulder, or that your hand is not right under your shoulder, from that whole idea of jamming. I'm starting to bring my bottom ribs under and up. That line of energy from my belly to the inner seam, out the heel. Your gaze can stay down, it can come forward. Your top arm can stay at your hip or reach up. Ooh. This is my more difficult side. This is the side where I sprained my ankle almost 2 years ago, and I still struggle with balance. If your hand's up, bring it back down. If your foot's up, ooh, ever so gracefully. Come back into a warrior 2. Awesome. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So if you need to adjust. Step your feet wide. Rotate your left foot and leg 90 degrees. Kick your back heel back, toes in a little. Start to bend your front knee, aiming it in a good safe spot. So strong thigh here, so it's not falling in. Pressing through all 4 corners. Upper belly and chest, reaching your arms up. Make sure that your shoulders are right above your hips. And again, I've got a little bit of a wall in the way, and actually this is the shoulder that bothers me, so I usually adjust. You can always have your hand at your hip as well. Bring your hands down, step your back foot in a little bit. So you're going to keep that press. You're going to want to make sure that this foot stays at 90 degrees. It likes to turn in once we're in this pose, but this is to keep us in alignment and safe. Hinge. Reach for whatever is going to support you. And what I forgot to mention on the first side is if you don't have anything, you could just work here with your hands at your hips. Maybe just reach. It's a little more difficult, but it's doable. So I'm going to hinge, I'm going to reach for my block. Decide if you lift your foot or not. Reaching through your heel. Line of energy to help reach and open, bringing your bottom ribs. Ooh. That's okay if you fall over. Just come back in. Breathing. This is supposed to be my better side. Some days balance is great, other times it's not. Top arm can stay at your hip. Oh boy. Or not. Keep breathing. If you've come down, that's fine. If you're still up, awesome. You're awesome no matter what you're doing. If you're still up, bring your top arm back to your hip if it's up. Start to bring your foot back down, ever so gracefully coming back to your warrior two. Bring your arms down, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, step your feet together. Whew. Ready to do 106 more? Yeah. Oh wait, we did our 2 rounds of sun salute. See, I still think we're doing sun salute. All right, so we're gonna come back down onto the mat. You just need your support for under your head. Let me know if you do 108 sun salutes on summer solstice or any time. You're gonna lie down with your knees bent, your feet on your mat. Oh. Keep your feet hip distance apart. And let's just do a little shifting here back and forth. Just moving your knees over a few inches to the left, to the right. And then come back to stillness. You're going to pick your right foot up and you're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee. Figure 4. You might want to just stay here today. This might be plenty for you. You could take your right hand and press it into your thigh to help move your leg and knee away. Don't press into your knee. Keep your foot active. I think I'm going to sneeze. Usually it's 3. Excuse me. All right. You can stay here. You can remove your hand. If you feel like you have accessibility for a little more today, you could just come onto your big toe of your left foot, or, this is my tighter side. Hug your knees in. If your other foot's off the mat, make sure both feet are active. You could extend your leg up long. This actually gives me a little more accessibility, and it enables me to move my right knee away from my right shoulder a little more than if I don't have my leg extended. Check in with your head and neck. That's why I like to have something under my head for this. It's a pretty intense pose. You can see my shoulders come up. So I do the best I can to relax that part of my body. And then if your leg is extended up long, bend your left knee and bring your foot to the mat. Keep your right foot where it is, and we'll do that little shifting side to side. And then if it feels okay, you're going to bring your right foot toward the left to come into a twist. Maybe your foot touches, maybe not. You can press your hand into your thigh if you'd like, or have it more of a relaxed twist. The next time you inhale, lift from your belly button. Uncross your legs. Come back to constructive rest. Do a little back and forth. Come back to stillness. Pick your left foot up, cross your left ankle over your right knee. You can press your left hand into your left thigh to help move your knee and thigh away. Make sure that your left foot is active, whether pressing through the ball of your foot or your heel. My preference is heel unless that causes any issues. Then you'll let go. And then we'll do a little back and forth. Oh, we did that after, didn't we? Well, all right, come back to stillness. You can come onto the ball of your foot or your big toe, or you can lift your right foot off the mat to hug your knees into your chest. Your hands can come behind your thigh or in front of your shin. I cannot reach. Both of your feet are active if they're off the mat. You're welcome to extend your leg up long. You do not have to. Check in with your breath. If your right leg is extended, bend your knee. Bring your foot back to your mat. Keep your left foot where it is. Let's do that little shifting side to side. And then the next time you go over to the right, you'll bring your foot down to the mat or let it float above the mat. You can press your right hand into your thigh if you'd like, or have it more of a relaxed twist. With the lift of your belly, inhale to bring your leg back up. Uncross. Do a little shift side to side. Come back to stillness in your constructive rest. And you'll set up for your Shavasana. So at the end of my YouTube classes, I recommend that if you have time and would like to do 5, 10, 15 minutes of Shavasana, that you set yourself up, you pause the video, you set the timer on your phone or something else and do Shavasana, because we don't do a very long Shavasana in these videos, or you do the short Shavasana with me. You decide, depending on how you're feeling today. Longer is always better, but a few minutes is better than nothing. You can extend your legs out long. You can extend your legs as wide as your mat. You could roll a blanket under your knees. If you have a bolster, you could use a bolster. When I do a short Shavasana, I like to step my feet wide and allow my knees to support each other. That's nice for my low back. And then my knees don't start moving as I get relaxed. Have your hands and arms wherever is comfortable for you. And coming back to that idea of your ideal summer day. Start to deepen your breath. Start to make some movements in your outer extremities. Take a few breaths here, whatever would feel good for you. You're still practicing yoga, so be mindful of what your body needs, what your body wants as you transition from your Shavasana back up into a seat. Don't feel hurried, don't feel rushed. Eventually, you'll make your way over to one side. Pause there for a breath or two. And use the strength of your hands and arms to come up to seated, bringing your head up last. Make sure that you sit well. So find your comfortable seat for these last few moments. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Keep peace in your mind, keep strength in your body, and keep love in your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Hope you have a lovely summer solstice, or welcome to summer if it's already summer. Thank you for practicing with me. You're welcome to comment below. Send me an email at therealgofitgirl@gmail.com. Facebook and Twitter, I'm GoFitGirl, and on Instagram, I'm TheRealGoFitGirl. I'm letting all my students know that on July 5th, I'm hosting a donation-based live yoga class. So I do my live classes on Zoom, which you're welcome to email me about any of the classes that I do. I do have weekly classes on Wednesdays and Thursdays right now, and they'll continue for sure through July. But this class is donation-based, so it's based on love. So if someone can't afford to pay anything to come to yoga, they can still come and feel the love. And if you can afford to pay something, then you pay what you can afford. All the proceeds are going to go to Black Visions Collective, and I think I misspoke last week on my video, but you can look them up if you want to know more about them. But I'm really excited. They're part of the Black Lives Matter initiative, so I'm really excited to offer this class and offer donations. So have a lovely day, and I hope to practice with you again soon. Thanks. Bye.